Hi everyone, Joe for JaspysCaseBreaks.com coming at you with a 10-box break of 2024-25 Panini Prizm Basketball Retail Edition. Half case break. One spot gets you two, and a few spots that were given away as well. Big thanks to this group for making it happen. So we only sold 12 of the 15 spots outright. Top 3 after 10 are going to get extra spots. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Neil, Jason, Adam, congrats. Extra spots going your way after 10. And now let's double up your names right here. Now we've got all 30 spots. Now we can randomize you one of these teams right here. All teams in, no combos. Let's roll it, randomize it. 6 and a 3, 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Got Jalen down to Bennett after 9. And 6 and a 3, 9 times for the teams. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9th and final time. We got the Mavs down to the Sixers after 9. All right, Jalen with the Mavs, Greg with the Hornets, Stephen K with the Celtics, Adam with the Nuggets, Jason with the Heat, Spurs, and Timberwolves. Adam with the Grizz, Jason with the Raptors, Neil with the Hawks, Neil with the Kings, Simon with the Cavs and Wizards, Bennett with the Thunder, Adam with the Knicks, Neil, Last Spot Mojo with the Rockets, Taylor with the Pacers, Adam with the Clippers, Stephen K with the Warriors, Neil with the Bulls, Adam with the Magic, Jalen with the Jazz, Neil, you got my Lakers, Greg with the Nets, Taylor with the Suns, Greg with the Trailblazers, Neil, your other Last Ball Mojo team, Pelicans, Adam with the Bucks, Greg with the Pistons, and Bennett with the 76ers. All right, I'm going to alphabetize by team name, and we're going to pause the video just for a little bit. When we come back, we'll see if there's any trades, and then we'll have the break. So stick around. We'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back, everybody. We got the Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals in overtime, 3-3. 9:37 left in OT. No deals were done, so the list remains the same here on Wednesday the 4th. Thanks, everyone, for making this happen. Appreciate it. And it's a fresh case, half case from a fresh case. So let's pop this case open. Grab my knife. Where's my knife? Oh, there it is over there. Empty case. So we'll have 10 on this side, 10 on the left side, 10 on the right side. We're going to roll the die. We'll go 1, 2, 3 for the left side and 4, 5, 6 for the right side. And it'll be 2. So we're going to go left side right here. This side we will save for next time. Okay. There you go. That's the special inserts that we're looking for. Pink pulsars as well. The occasional autograph. There's not too many autos in this. And while we're doing this break, folks, we got 2 other breaks that are right on the cusp of filling. If you're a hockey fan, there's 3 left in that last random number block that'll unlock that break. And if you're a baseball fan, we got 3 left in the random number block for NT baseball. Both of those breaks, both of those fillers, we're giving away additional spots. So head over to jaspyscasebreaks.com, browse around, grab a spot or 2, and help me out, help each other out. There's the link in the chat right there, jaspyscasebreaks.com. We'll have, I know this break takes a little bit of time, but when we're done with this, we'll still have plenty of time to do those 2 breaks, so they're very quick. I'll be honest with you, this is our first break of the day, and we're at 8:30 LA time, and we've been live for quite a while since Jason popped on early today. So a little surprising this is our first break of the day, but we got 2 other really nice breaks really close, and that'll go a long way in salvaging this day. So help me out, help each other out, jaspyscasebreaks.com, and hey, listen, all it takes is 1. You never know what kind of hits you can stumble into. So put me to work. I'm at your service. Although I realize that this overtime hockey game is probably distracting people right now. All right. And here we go. All card chip, of course. We got a Dennis Rodman, the Worm, 15 out of 275 for the Bulls. And that will be for Neil and the Bulls. Nice. Here's a Stefan Castle rookie card. That's your rookie of the year. Really nice season for him. That's going to be Jason and the Spurs. So we're looking for Stefan Castles. We're looking for, you know, the top 2 picks. Right, Sar and Risacher. Maybe some Bronnies. Stefan Castles. Low numbers. Parallels of all those top tier rookies. So a lot of stuff here that we're looking for. And just because of my Laker bias, maybe some Dalton Connects. Rooting for him. Do like rookie silvers. We'll set those aside to be top loaded. Here's an Alexander Sarr for the Wizards. Instant impact. It's going to go to Simon in Washington. There's a LeBron Green Tyler Kolek back here as well. The LeBron will go to Neil. All right, box 1 in the books. On to box 2. Rex, what's up? You're not a celebrity guy, but is there anyone that you wouldn't mind sitting down and having a conversation with? If not a celebrity, maybe an athlete, musician. Well, I'm not a celebrity guy in the sense that I don't really, put those guys on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Not necessarily a dislike. But I mean, probably enjoy having a conversation with a musician. I think there was a Rick Rubin, right, the famous producer, music producer. He did a special with Paul McCartney, I think. Gotta dig that up again. That was actually kind of cool. Forget what network did it, but they both were just talking like almost musician to musician. They kind of had like a studio recording board set up. And they were just talking about how he recorded this, how they recorded that. But, obviously they're both, they're both good musicians and good recording artists. So they were just kind of talking shop. So it's kind of cool to see that. I'd like to see more of that. No, I wouldn't. No need to talk to Zach Braff. Even if to tell him off. I don't need to tell him off, Zach Braff. He knows. He already knows how I feel. Something like that. I'd like to have a conversation with, like, I don't know, like a golfer, like Scotty Scheffler or something, Rory McIlroy. It's like, how do you, give me some tips. All right, right about here is the sharpest focus here. There's a Bronny. Another rookie silver. That's Max Christie's brother, by the way. Stephen K. wouldn't mind chatting with James Hetfield. We just talked about him earlier. Or Keanu Reeves. I feel like Keanu Reeves would actually be an interesting conversation. It would just be cool to hear him tell him stories about, like, just about Hollywood and navigating the industry. There's a deep space Alexander Sarr for the Wizards. You know what I would like? I wouldn't mind going to a gun range with Keanu Reeves. That'd be cool to. I mean, he's been in so many of those John Wick movies, and apparently, like, apparently he, a lot of that's him doing all of the, the crazy shooting and the. Here's Scoot Henderson to 42. All those slick reloads and stuff like that. Like, he clearly puts work into it. There must be a lot of training he does for that. A lot of hours. A lot of hours put in. Here's a nice one coming up. That's Stephon Castle, right? Yeah, it is. That's Instant Impact Silver Stephon Castle. A lot of times those are just base. But the silver, these kind of parallels are what we're looking for. Jason with the Spurs. These guys must be exhausted. It's 3 minutes left in overtime. This could go to a double. Excuse me. Christopher Nolan. That's another person I'd like. Another sort of celebrity type or public figure, media, creative type that I would like to sit down and chat with. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Is that a penalty? It is. Wow. Did he... Oh, he flicked the puck over the glass. That's the penalty. In OT as well, nonetheless. Power play overtime. Ooh, what a save. There's Zachary Risacher for Neil in Atlanta. A lot of upside for this guy too, I want to say. Matas Bazelis. That's someone to keep an eye on. Neil, Bulls. Not sure if he made much of a splash this season, but I feel like someone to keep an eye out on. A green Alexander Sarr global reach insert. Nice. Like seeing the parallels of these guys. Simon with the Wizards. Ooh, there it is. You have the first goal of the game, has the last goal of the game. People outside the arena going nuts. What's the weather like in Edmonton? This looks nice. Low 60s at 9 o'clock Pacific. Are they in Pacific time? 9 o'clock, whatever time that is. Mountain time, maybe? It was wide open. I feel like McDavid has a little bit of that gravity that drew some players away from Draisaitl. And a great pass. And by the time the goalie got to the other side, it was too late. All right, next box. And we got a Sublime here. Sublime Steph Curry. There you go, Stephen K with the Warriors. That's awesome. That's one of the ultra rare inserts, Sublime and Manga. I'm not sure if we're going to see a Manga. We might. That'd make this a really great case. There you go. That's sweet. Stephen K, thanks for getting in. Here's a Rudy Gobert to 275 for the T-Wolves. That'll be for Jason. Alexander Sarr for Simon and the Wizards. And an autograph for the Wizards. Eugene Omo Rui. I'll go with that. Penmanship autograph going to Simon and Washington. Hey, you're welcome, Stephen K. Thanks for getting in. We got a Reed Shepherd, Instant Impact Green, a Matis Buzelis Silver. Not a bad box at all here. Neil with the Bulls. And Greg with the Trailblazers. Or sorry, Rockets. It's my bad. That's going to be for Neil. Last spot mojo. All right, next box. No worries, Rex. You're speaking of Hetfield. Did you see the interview with Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, talking about how Metallica stole his riffs? Uh-oh. I have to admit, Rex, Megadeth and Metallica beefs aren't in my my newsfeed algorithm. I guess, are they contemporaries? Is Megadeth a little bit older than Metallica, maybe? I guess it's possible. I don't know, I mean, it's difficult, right? Like, how do you, what's the line between influenced by and stole? You know, like, stealing is a pretty heavy accusation. Here's a Deep Space Reed Shepherd, a Dalton Connect. Neil with the Rockets. Got a LeBron green. Oh, he was thrown out of Metallica. Oh, well then that... Well, that makes sense then. That just sounds like sour grapes. We've got Adem Bona for the Sixers. That'll be for Bennett. Green LeBron James going to Neil and my Lakers. Sounds like sour grapes to me. Is Billy Corgan claiming people are ripping him off too? File a lawsuit. You know, if you can really prove it, you know, the courts have shown that you can get writing credit for that sort of stuff. So if there's truly a legal case to be made, defend your honor. Otherwise, I mean, I would just be happy that, you know, that I'm influencing future musicians. You know, there are only so many chords and chord progressions in popular music. This is Dirk Nowitzki. And we got an autograph. That's going to be Yves Missy. Pelicans. That's going to be for Neil. Last Spot Mojo.
Charge up to 178 miles in just 15 minutes. How it should be. The Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, for a limited time, lease a Hyundai Ioniq 5 for $189 a month. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. Pizza Hut is about to hook you up with more of what you love. Because when you order any pizza, we'll hook you up with a free pizza later. All
right, and we'll do a recap at the end of this. Halfway through the break. Another 25-30 minutes to go. How are we looking on our random number blocks?
It's gonna stay like that. Funny. I'm trying to get my own car insurance.
We got Tree with a full spot in the Hit Parade baseball mixer, but that's it. If we want to get something else going, folks, we've got those two random number blocks really close. One for NT and one for the Cup Hockey. Both of those will fill up their respective breaks. We'll sell them out. Corgan recently claimed that SE ripped, and then to their face when he interviewed them. I mean, I feel like, you know, if that's really true, you can't take legal action and just prove it. Simple as that. I feel like, you know, there was the famous case of the Verve in Bittersweet Symphony would apparently sampled a Rolling Stones symphonic version of one of their songs, and then the lawyers got into it, and I don't think the Rolling Stones even wanted to be involved there, but the lawyers, publishing company got into it, and now they're getting royalties from that song. And I think more recently, Olivia Rodrigo, I think, had a song that was very close to a Paramore song, which actually I think Hayley Williams of Paramore may have a writing credit on that now. I feel like there's been some other examples of that recently too. So Billy Corgan's that sore about it, he can stop bitching about it and he can just go to court and prove it. And then get writing credit from those SPC Stone Temple Pilots songs now and in the future. All right. And we got a emergent Matas Buzelis silver for Neil and the Bulls. Corgan has an ego bigger than the average person, it seems. I mean, kind of have to have that if you're going to be in that industry and be successful in the industry. But, you know, if he actually believes that, you should take him to court. Otherwise, just shut it. There's Risa Sher, Atlanta. That's going to be for Neil. Another Stephon Castle for the Spurs. That'll be for Jason. There's Instant Impact, Bronny. Bono was on Rogan recently. What did Bono have to say for himself? There's a Stephon Castle Emergent Silver for Jason and the Spurs. Nice. Another Risa Sher, green Jeremy Sohan. And we've got a Dorian Finney-Smith. 83 out of 275, Nets edition going to Greg. I think they had a new album coming out. Maybe not. A more humble interview. Or his interview's not humble? The implication being that Bono's usually not humble? I feel like Bono's always been pretty straight shooter in his interviews. There's a Red Wave Dalton Connect for the Lakers. That's going to be for Neil. And there's a Bronny James. You have not watched a lot of his interviews, but I'm just making blanket statements without actually listening to interviews, huh? I think people confuse Bono's sort of rock star confidence with egotistical. But I mean, I guess he is maybe. But you kind of have to be if you're, if you're gonna be a rock star. I mean, they were arguably the biggest global rock band in the world for like a couple decades. I don't remember that moment. That was a great comeback record, though. There were a couple. I don't know. I kind of like their albums from the '90s, but they weren't as big as their work from the '80s. But that All That You Can't Leave Behind album turned out to be sort of a great comeback record. It's been spotty since then, but still good to see. You know, if you look at a record from later in their career, that's a nice one to have on the resume. Now, folks, we're not too far away from finishing this break off. Remember, we've got three spots left in the hockey random number block. And that sells out the first half of the Cup hockey. And there's 3 left in the NT random number block. And that will sell out the last half of the case of NT Baseball. That features 13 teams. So obviously we've got plenty of time to fill those 2 breaks. Would really love to get those done tonight. Let's get them done. While I'm finishing off these last few boxes, grab some spots. Let's finish those off. I can go through orders after this, lock it onto the schedule, and we'll get those breaks done. First to fill, first to break. That I remember. The Fallon bit where they were in the subway platforms and they were playing, and they were dressed as like buskers and not U2. That was a good bit. Probably one of the best concerts I saw was a U2 concert. Saw them play in Vegas. It was an October show of 2001. So it was probably a month after 9/11. There's LaMelo for Charlotte for Greg, and that's when they were doing like the big background where they had all the names of all the victims in the flights kind of go up. And pretty emotional. Another emergence to Font Castle. There's that kind of at the height of U2 comeback, and they were playing arenas. So I saw them. Usually U2's going out on giant stadium tours, and this time, at least for that leg of the tour, they had opted for basketball arenas, which for U2 is considered an intimate venue, and so yeah, that was also really cool. And generally, the sound in indoor arenas are better than outdoor stadiums. Yeah, really emotional. It was an awesome show. Pretty sure it was the October after 9/11, or was it the year after 9/11? At this point, it's a long time ago. The dates get mixed up, but it was that tour though. All right, 2 more boxes to go. There you go, Andy Paez. It's a good 1-out double. Dodgers are down a few runs, bottom of the 7th. I looked it up. It was the Elevation Tour, which, yeah, the third leg. I think it was the first leg was the United States, the second leg was Europe, and third leg was coming back to the United States, and it was post 9/11. But the Vegas show I went to wasn't until November, so a couple months after. But still. Nice. Yeah, I feel like basketball arenas are kind of like the perfect size venue to see. It's not too big. I've done stadium shows. They're cool, but unless you're like on the ground level and towards the front, like. The sound can be hit or miss in an open air venue that can fit 50, 60,000 people. All right, another box.
So it's up to Kike Hernandez here. 4 of Kike's 7 home runs this year have come against lefties.
That's right, you can't even get tickets.
Slider and golf it out to left field. First one from Castillo. It is a fastball first strike.
I saw the Foo Fighters at the Forum here in Los Angeles, which is where the Lakers used to play in the 80s and 90s. But they redesigned the interior to be, geared towards, for live shows, for concerts. So I saw Foo Fighters there. I think I saw Arcade Fire there at one point. But the sound is really good in there. There's a green Zachary Risasher Global Reach. Atlanta. That's going to be for Neil. This guy might be someone to keep an eye out on as well. Emergent Silver, Zach Edey. Adam with Memphis. And we got a Dalton Connect to set to 275. Nice. Neil with my Lakers. Here you go, Cheeky. That got Rex. That plays for Rex. And the final box. Oh no, it didn't go over my head. Did Third Eye Blind see you? Yeah. Come on. What's not to get? I'm always paying attention, Jonathan. I'm at this point. I'm just conditioned to just tune out poor attempts at humor. Foo Fighters, like a lot of bands, have a cool story about a song that almost didn't become as big as it did. That almost didn't become big? It's a weird... are you saying that they didn't expect to become big, that did become big? Oh, they did Everlong on acoustic, and then it blew up. So a song they didn't expect to be big that became big. Got it. The way you worded it almost seemed like that almost didn't become a big hit if it weren't for them releasing it as a single or something like that, or if it weren't for them, remixing the song or something. Here's a silver Stefan Castle. That's going to be for Jason and the Spurs. I'd like to see it too, Jonathan. And if we want to see that happen, I'm going to need your help. Because no orders have come in, and we're just 3 random number block spots away. In fact, if everyone who got a team in the Cup, if just a fraction of you got a spot in the last random number block, we'd be in Breaksville. We need all hands on deck if we want to see that happen. I see 2 orders coming in, but none are for that random number block. So we need people to act and get spots now. Unfortunately, just wishing for a break to happen is not going to make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. We need people to buy spots. There's another Alexander Sarr. Same with that NT baseball. That's in the same situation. 3 random number block spots away. And we're also giving us spots away within those random number blocks as well. In fact, we're only selling 6 of the 10 spots outright in that last random number block. 4 spot giveaways. So 4 of the 6 spots that we sell are going to get extra spots. So do the math. That's really good odds. All right, we got some green parallels of some potential future stars, we hope. Donovan Klingen, another one of the big men in last year's draft, and Alexander Sarr, one of the handful of Frenchmen in the NBA draft. Oof. Pete Alonso crushed that one. Where'd that go? That went almost out of the stadium. Pete Alonso hit one, Jesus, past the bleachers and into like the concession area. 447 feet. Jesus. That's like every Cure song, Rex. or Depeche Mode song. All right, and that's the break. Thanks, everybody. Second half will be in the store. But some fun stuff. Like, obviously not a lot of, not a lot of autographs, but we're looking for like parallels, the green parallels, silver, right? That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for when we're doing retail stuff like this. The occasional autograph. And we're looking for short prints like this one. Nice one for the Warriors. That was for Stephen K. A Steph Curry Sublime. And there you have it, boys and girls. That was 2024-25 Panini Prizm Basketball Retail Edition. Half case break. Pick your team or random team number 3. I'm Joe, and I'll see you next time for the next break. Bye-bye.